for joining me for another ITY video. I have with me John Langford-Ely. He's the General Manager of Bridj. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Now, we just have recorded your presentation, but just tell us again in brief what Bridj is and what it is you're trying to do here in Sydney.
Well, Bridj is a demand responsive technology platform, and essentially what we do, we analyse travel patterns in the city using data, and we feed that into the design of more flexible and direct routes.
For public transport?
For public transport, so that's definitely our focus as opposed to door-to-door type ride-sharing services.
Yeah. And what you've got here is a trial that's happening over 6 months in Smithfield here, and the hope is for that to be successful and then expand it across Australia.
Absolutely. So this service in Western Sydney, it's designed to take workers from a high-frequency bus corridor to their place of employment and then back to a high-frequency corridor at the end of the day. We're absolutely hoping to roll this out nationwide, and we're talking to public transport authorities and other industry players to try and do that. So
and in the background we have one of the buses here.
Yes. Yep. Wonderful small shuttle bus. And what I should point out, we try and right-size our services for a particular area, but the technology is agnostic as to whether it's a large bus or a small bus. Again, we try and match the service or right-size the service to meet the demand.
Sure. And I mean, you'll also be offering things like a dedicated seat, public, Wi-Fi.
Yep.
Trying to make it as technologically modern as possible.
Give customers as much information as possible, and I think that this is going to be an ongoing process of discovery, and we'll be seeking feedback. So within the app, customers have an opportunity to give a rating, but also give us free-form feedback, which is actually usually the most valuable feedback that we get. Yeah,
well, it's the word of. I mean, it's like going to an Amazon website and reading what real people think as opposed to reviewers.
Absolutely. So we will go through a process of review and continually try to improve the customer experience.
Obviously, there'll be a lot of word of mouth, but presumably you'll be contacting all of the different employers in the area here to say, hey, we have this available. And
absolutely, and I think it's a real opportunity for the employers in the area to give their employees a better way of getting to work.
Is there a cost during the trial period?
So there's a 4-week trial free fare period, and then after that there'll be a $3.10 fare.
And that doesn't matter the distance because it's in a small trial area at the moment.
For the trial, it's just based on a flat fare, but certainly we want to look at things like dynamic pricing that are based on distance, but also on demand. I think that the pricing model will be refined based on the nature of the individual service that we're actually putting on, and it's something that we want to talk a lot more with state governments and the transport authorities about, because, as I said, we see this as a complement to the existing public transport network. We can run public transport far more efficiently, and we think that needs to be reflected.
Now, at the moment, you've got an app which we'll have a look at shortly, but in the future, do you think it'll integrate with something like Opal Card?
Look, I'm actually hoping that Opal cards might die pretty soon.
Yeah, well, you'll be NFC or whatever.
I'd love.
I mean, they're working on that themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And open loop technologies where people are using their phones. I would love there to be integration of the entire journey. Sure.
So let's have a quick look at the app. So just walk us through. This is actually the interface for the driver, but the smartphone version will be similar.
Yeah. Well, this is actually a demonstration version of the smartphone application. It's just on a tablet. So
let's have a look here.
This is a home screen, and depending on what time of the day it is, it will guess essentially whether it thinks you're going to work or coming home. And so you can say, I'm coming home.
In this case, it's the end of the working day.
And so it's saying, okay, I want to go home. Or if you're taking a different route.
You want to go to the shops first or something?
You can just go, I'm going somewhere else. So you go, I'm going somewhere else. Now, because this is a demo version, we've just loaded in a origin zone here. But when it's actually up and running, you'll basically see a highlighted blue cloud of where the coverage area is for pickup stops. So we can just say, yes, I am here. and then it says, okay, well, where do you want to go? These are the areas that we can drop you off, and you can either move your pin around, or you can log your own destination in here, or if you want to go somewhere outside of that zone, it will say, sorry, we don't currently offer services here.
Yeah.
But what we're hoping to do with that is essentially crowdsource, where people do want services to come in the future.
Sure.
So we encourage people to let us know as much as possible.
Click on the expand to my area button.
Exactly.
Yes. So we've received your request. So, but if we did want to go somewhere that was in the system, actually, I'll get you to tap it for me.
Yeah. So if we just say we want to go here in the system, we just say I want to go there, and it will come up with a whole heap of trips. Okay. And let's just say we want to jump on the 1106. It will allow you to reserve your seat.
And this location here is one that other people in the area are also nearby, and you're trying to pick the best spot for everyone to come to for the shortest possible pickup.
Yeah, so what we do, we analyse the demand patterns in a city and use big data to try and locate where people want to move. And we look at all kinds of data to come up with these routes. And it is based on a sequence of potential candidate stops, but depending on the passengers that are actually on a trip, it will light those stops up as active or inactive.
But you're also saying you're trying to get people to not have to go more than 5 minutes to a stop or
so
to their destination.
We've got certain bounds that we build into our system, and we can actually vary that depending on the location. So at the moment we sort of limit it to a 500-metre walk, but if it's a very hilly terrain, or for example if you're in an area that has heavy snow, that you might tighten those bounds. But that obviously has a consequence in terms of the efficiency of the route, and this tries to balance those out. The individual and the group.
And so this is showing us where we can be picked up from, and presumably you'll see on the bus how far away, on the map how far away the bus is, like on other Uber type systems.
Yeah, so this is basically just showing you at a high level, this is where I am, this is where I want to go. This already has a credit card preloaded, just a dummy one. So for the first trial 4-week period, there will be a promo code and you'll get free fares essentially. So we press continue. Your trip has been booked, and then you can view your pass. And this is giving you, points out where you are. This is where you said that you were on the map, and it'll give you walking directions to your pickup spot.
And it's showing us the theoretical number plate and expected pickup time and
walking time, etc.
So anyone who's used Uber or GoCatcher, it's a very similar kind
very
of...
similar. It also gives you, during your journey, an expected ETA. When you get to the end of your drop-off location, because it dynamically chooses where it's going to drop you off, to minimise the total travel time and to avoid congestion, you'll get a push notification saying, hey, your stop is next, and these are your walking distances or directions to your office. And I'll just show you this as well. This is your boarding pass, which is a unique animation for each trip. And so you present that to the driver, and the driver will have easy recognition that, yes, you're supposed to be on this bus, please come on board.
Okay, well, look, I wish you the best of success with the trial and hope it's rolled out soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.